And hello, everybody. All right, we have FOMO Fox already requesting to speak. That is lovely to see.
Hi.
Hello there. All right, just a quick reminder on what is the best course of action here. So I think we should get everybody on stage and speaker permissions assigned. And then I would ask everybody to stay muted until it's their turn. As Twitter Spaces goes, somebody is eating a bag of chips somewhere. So yes, let's please stay muted until everybody's turn is up. So we are waiting for the new elites. We have Rusty Robots. I can already see you there. Let's get you on stage. Perfect. Then we are waiting for UNCX. We have Nakama Labs joining from Rob's account. And then we also have Token Labs. The new elites, I can see your request. All right, already halfway there. Already halfway there. So we have the new elites. Check. Rusty Robots. Check. FOMO Fox. Check. Yeah, let's give it another minute. We are waiting for UNCX, Nakama Labs, and Token Labs. It's going to be a very lab-intensive speed dating. Yeah, let's hope that my dates show up. But I mean, I'm in a very lucky position tonight. I will be dating all of these projects. I think I cannot really reveal a favorite, but yes, I assume that you're all going to do great. You're all going to be entering into my heart with this date. And yeah, I think let's just get going. If the others are showing up, that would be great. And if not, we are very happy to have a chance to talk to the new elites, Rusty Robots, and FOMO Fox. So while that is going, looking at my list, the new elites, you are coming up first. Hello there.
Hey, Jonathan, you've got the sexiest radio voice in the community, I think. It's a pleasure to be it's a pleasure to be talking to you.
Likewise. So the new elites, let's get right into it. Please introduce yourself and your project.
All right, well, I'm Cutcraft. I've been part of the community since 2018 and making content on my YouTube channel, Spec Weekly, for about 2 years now. And I've partnered with the extremely talented IOTA DLT team. They are a group of GigaChad full stack devs who are led by Sebastian Weber. And together we're building the new elites, an NFT/GameFi project. And the NFTs are anime style PFPs. I think they're going to be one of the first to hit the IOTA EVM, and they entitle holders to a daily token allocation. So the GameFi side is an incentive system where the NFT holders need to decide what to do with their tokens. And we're going to go live with a fully functional platform, and the winners of the incentive system will receive IOTA tokens as a reward. So the new elites is designed to give people a reason to hold their NFTs beyond just trying to flip them and hoping the price goes up. And by introducing our unique gamification system, I think we're going to make some nipples really hard there, Jonathan.
That sounds amazing. I can totally attest to that. Let's go right into the second question. And that is, what purpose does your token serve? And if there is no token, do you have any plans on launching one?
No, we do have a token, and it's central to the project. So the token's purpose is to generate points within the gamification system that we have built. The NFTs are allocated into one of 5 groups when they are minted. And we call these groups dynasties, like royal families, for example. Players don't decide which dynasty their NFTs are in, as the dynasty is baked into the metadata and the art design of the PFP. But what players do decide is how to use their tokens. So players can use their tokens to build points for their own dynasty with a game mechanic that is similar to staking when you stake your tokens, for example, on the DEX. But players can also use this same game mechanic against enemy dynasties, where when they do the staking mechanism, it will erase the enemy's points. So this creates a situation where dynasties can form alliances and attack another dynasty, for example. But why would people bother trying to win? And I think this is part of the selling point of our project, is that we're reserving 30% of the mint to be given back to the community as rewards, and that reward is going to be split among the players of the winning dynasty. So since the token is critical to winning the game, and winning the game brings a tangible reward, we're pretty confident the tokenomics are going to be one of the best in the IOTA ecosystem for a project. And I think it's important to mention that over 80% of the token goes to NFT holders.
Lovely. All right. So could you share some highlights of your roadmap that you have planned for the future?
So yeah, we've got quite a few things planned for this year, but we've already done a lot of the work. So that's part of the model that we want to go with, that we're seeing a lot of the projects do now, is that they're building first before they mint an NFT or offer up a sort of platform. They want to do the work first before they go to the community. And that's pretty much what we're doing as well. We're expecting to mint probably around mid to late July. After we hit an internal milestone, we trigger a 1-week countdown for the game side to begin. This probably happens at around mid to late August. And this is when the NFTs start generating their tokens, and when the tokens can be used in the point system that I mentioned just before. So after this trigger and before the game begins is when we will kickstart the tokenomics. We will also surrender 1% of the tokens with about 1% of the mint funds, which will be in IOTA tokens, and we'll hand them over to Magic C, where they will help us by creating a liquidity pool that is not within the project team's control. And the pair that we're looking to create will be with IOTA and our games token. So then season 1 will have 2 game periods, with the game periods lasting about 8 weeks each. And this would be likely around mid to late October, when the first game period ends. And this is when the first rewards will be paid directly to the wallets holding the NFTs of the winning dynasty, and the rewards will be paid in IOTA tokens. So there's a bit of degen energy happening right after the launch. And finally, while all of that's happening, is when our team will be back to building further expansions to the platform, like additional game mechanics and introducing more ways to use the token.
That sounds amazing. I'm really enjoying our date so far. But
promise you the world, baby.
But let's see. All right, you're going to get tested with the next question here, and that is: what piece of advice would you depart to the general Web3 community?
The first one's very important. It's not to take out a bank loan to buy crypto. And the second one, Jonathan, is not to use your retirement funds to buy crypto either. We had Antonio in the community for a long time as our community guru, and he was always about DCAing and not aping in. So that's what I would say. Don't take out loans, guys. if you do take out a loan, make sure that you don't mind losing it and it's not your retirement funds. So those are my 2 pieces of advice.
Yeah, I should definitely take that to heart. Very good advice, I would say. So the last question is: which historical figure would you like to have on your advisory board, and why is that?
Dude, I think it would be cool to have Rick Rubin as an advisor. And the reason I say that is because he's all about focusing on the process of a project and not the outcome. If you guys aren't familiar with Rick Rubin, he's produced some of the greatest albums of all time. And I say that because it's sometimes hard to overcome the self-doubt and the anxiety of the unknown, especially when you're doing a project, to take the risks you need to take in order to create something that's truly awesome. So it would be so cool to have something like Rick Rubin along for the ride when you're hitting your low moments to pick you back up a bit.
Lovely answer. I would have not thought that a musician is going to come up with that question. So yeah, not only taking your advice to heart, but yes, also some research that I have to take away here. Yeah, the new elites, Codecraft, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, maybe I'm going to invite you for a second date.
All right, let's do it, man. Thank you very much, dude.
Thank you so much. All right, cool. So this has been our first candidate. I can also see Token Labs here in the audience. Please request to speak and then we'll get you up on stage, but only unmute your mic when your turn is due. Okay, so next up we have Rusty Robots. Please unmute your mic.
Hello, Jonathan. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing just fine. Thank you. Yeah, very excited to be learning a little bit about you and Rusty Robots. So please take it away with an introduction about yourself and Rusty Robots.
Okay, perfect. First of all, thank you for having me and giving me the chance to speak here. My name is Manuel, and I'm a co-founder and lead developer of the products that we use at the Rusty Robot Country Club. And a little bit of the introduction about the project is that we are all about the community, and the good vibes and building the biggest creative ecosystem that is going to be in like Web3 and everyone's going to be welcome. We were the first project to launch a community NFT sale on IOTA over 2 years ago, and the first to bring NFT comics, music, linked merch, and more to the ecosystem. And we're still going quite strong. We put the community and creators at the forefront, breaking down the barriers to create new experiences, and opportunities on Web3. We have an international team made up of experts, developers, musicians, producers, comic artists, legal advisors, and there's much more to it, all contributing in different areas to build DeFi and creator tools for the entire community, as well as launch creative releases and experiences like music, comics, merch, and the tokenizations of real-world assets through the CODA royalty rights token exchange. CODA, which is my favorite project at the moment. We're still building it, but we're like very, very close to finish everything now that EVM has come forward. So CODA allows for the tokenizing of the rights to the real world royalties from music and other creative IP like written word, comics, and film. So this will allow creative artists to share in the ownership of their music with fans, and fans to get closer to artists by owning a piece of that music and earning from the success of those releases. So currently we are working with TuneCore, Apple Music, and Spotify to launch independent releases that can be tokenized on CODA and distributed to the community of NFTs and Rust holders. So these holders will earn from passive income from the royalties of these releases, in some cases for like the next 70 plus years.
That sounds very interesting. You piqued my curiosity. I need to know a little bit more of you. And that is leading me to the question, what purpose does your token serve? And if there is no token, do you have any plans on launching one?
We do have a token. It's called Rust. And our entire ecosystem is powered by Rust that is distributed solely to the NFT holders. So the token is fully transparent and on-chain, and it's needing to interact with the RRCC website apps, such as bulk transfer, bulk burn. We have a raffle, comic and music experiences, and also on the CODA royalty rights exchange. So we distribute Rust through community airdrops that happen monthly to the holders. And the token has a 2-year vesting schedule that is clearly transparent and on the RCC docs of our website.
Lovely. All right. So I'd be interested in some highlights of the roadmap for 2024 that you're planning.
Okay, yeah. So we have already crossed over like 50 items of our roadmap up to date. So this year includes the launch of the real world assets on CODA royalty rights token exchange, which will tokenize the rights to royalties so anyone can earn uncorrelated passive income from our music. on Web3 and Web3 music and comic experiences, which will launch countless independent music and comic releases as unique ERC 1155 collectibles to experience music and comics in a new ways. The continued introduction of tokenized royalty rights on IOTA from mainstream artists, and the launch of the RRCC creator space. We also have the RRCC Community Project Fund that is vesting 130 million Rust over the next 2 years, and an ecosystem fund with a similar budget that will be available for the community to vote on their use within the RRCC DAO, which will also manage the Build by Bots platform that allows community members to apply for community funding to support creative projects built on the RRC. And we are also founded in the USA and supported by strong legal counsel in the States and Europe. And as we grow, so will our team. But if we could add anyone to the board, probably will be Taylor Swift as a big artist to our community.
All right. Yeah. Getting ahead of my questions here. So Taylor Swift, it is interesting. So that is already the second musician I did not expect. And Taylor Swift is also getting me by surprise, but I mean, the hype is undeniable. So yeah, fair choice.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of understand where I'm coming from. Sorry for getting ahead, but you know, she's got an incredible mind and understanding of the music industry, and always prioritizes the rights and best interest of independent artists.
That is a very fair argument. I've seen some university start a course on Taylor Swift, so there's got to be something to it. I'm not really saying I understand it, but clearly she's doing something right. There is one last thing that I would like to know of you, and yes, seeing that you have quite some experience in Web3, what piece of advice would you depart to the wider Web3 community?
So what I've been thinking a lot about this question, and if there's a piece of advice for everyone, it's just to simply relax, you know, join our community and feel our vibes, you know, just don't give up. And we're actually not robots, we're human, so it's hard to progress with negative comments. So try to just ignore that, focus on the positive, and keep on building. You know, it can distract us very much from the positive. And as a community and an ecosystem, we have some amazing people and projects building here. Rather than try and wish for another downfall or focus on a failure, we should be working together to help each other succeed and picking each other up when we fall. The more successful projects we create on the IOTA ecosystem, the better it is for all of us. So we've seen so many individuals lose out to mental health issues and drop out of the space because of the impact the digital space can have. But by supporting each other, encouraging each other, and building together, we can create a stronger ecosystem than any of us could ever imagine.
Lovely. Ending it on a very human note here indeed. So thank you so much, Rusty Robots, for coming up. Yeah.
Thank you again for giving me this chance to speak.
It's been our pleasure. So let's go to Nakama Labs as next speaker.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, I guess I'm talking to Rob. Is that right?
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, Rob. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Awesome. Let's get right into it. So, Rob, please introduce yourself and your project.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Rob. I'm a co-founder of Nakama. I guess if I should introduce Nakama, so Nakama is a Web3 builder where we're focused very heavily within the IOTA ecosystem. I've been involved in IOTA since sort of mid-2017. And my background before I got involved in crypto was actually within traditional finance. So in my kind of like early adoption of crypto, I was very focused on DeFi and Web3 ecosystems. And I had a keen interest in IOTA at the time, but I was also interested in other ecosystems that allow for smart contracts deployments. Relatively early on, I was an early investor in a number of early DeFi projects. And so we co-founded Nakama as a Web3 builder to build out some of the foundational applications on top of IOTA EVM. We're really fortunate to be involved with IOTA relatively early on. So we've deployed a number of different applications into Shimmer EVM. And so we've got a lot of battle tested and secured protocols to launch on top of IOTA EVM, which we're super excited about. Perhaps I can talk through some of the projects that we're going to launch on top of IOTA. Would that be okay, Jonathan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely appreciate that you're representing Nakama Labs. It's a little bit of a tough one, seeing that you run different projects. So yeah, please feel free to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate, time is is very valuable these days, but I'd encourage everyone to join our X Space on Friday at 6:30 p.m. CEST, where we're going to do a much more detailed run through of the applications that we're going to launch. We've also got a really cool surprise to announce at the X Space on Friday. So yeah, I guess that's a bit of a plug before I kind of go over like a high level what we're going to deploy. So the first application that we're deploying is with a partnership with Potluck, which is a team that's very close to my heart. It's called Accumulator. Accumulator is essentially a beefy fork, which is a yield compounder. In simple terms, what that means is that it allows you to maximize the amount of yield that you can earn by compounding the interest from providing liquidity to AMM dexes. I appreciate that might be a little bit like too high level for some, but please join us on Friday and we'll go through into more detail what that entails. But essentially, it's trying to maximize the amount of return that you can achieve by compounding the interest back into the underlying liquidity on dexes. We're looking to, or we're anticipating launching that over the next couple of weeks once we identify a number of different dexes and liquidity incentives that we can deploy the application on top of. The next application I'll run through is Deeper, which is a decentralized lending and borrowing market. Essentially, it provides you with the ability to lend your assets and obtain a variable yield depending on the demand of that market. The other cool thing with Deeper is that it allows you to use the assets that you've lent to also obtain a loan. So, for example, if you have IOTA, but you don't want to sell your IOTA because you're a long-term holder, you could essentially lend that to a market, obtain a yield for that asset, and then potentially you could borrow maybe a small amount of stable coins against that IOTA, which you could use as liquidity for a number of different reasons. So that's a really cool protocol that has already launched, as well as Accumulator on top of Shimmer EVM. The third application that we're going to be launching soon after Deeper is called Virtue. And Virtue is a decentralized, over-collateralized stablecoin lending protocol. A bit of a mouthful. Again, please join us on Friday. We'll run through this in a lot more detail. Essentially, it's going to provide you with the ability to obtain a low-cost, decentralized stablecoin, again, without having to sell your IOTA. And you could use IOTA as collateral. And we're exploring a launch timeline which is compatible with Deeper and the ecosystem for the benefit of everybody. We've got a couple more surprises from Nakama that we're going to be announcing over the next couple of weeks, one of which will be our X Space on Friday. So yeah, I guess that's a very short, high-level overview of the applications that we're going to be launching over the not too distant future.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, the next question is going to put you in a somewhat difficult spot right again. And that is, what purpose does your token serve? Well, and if there is no token currently, do you have plans on launching one?
Yeah, of course. So for Deeper, we have a token existing already, which launched on top of Shimmer EVM. The really cool thing with Deeper is that the Deeper tokens that are in existence already are essentially going to obtain much more utility now that we're going to be launching on top of IOTA EVM. So we anticipate that there'll be a lot more demand and a lot more revenue that we can generate on top of IOTA EVM and future EVMs that potentially we can explore in the future. So we're really excited to expand the amount of utility for Deeper. And just to clarify, one Deeper on top of Shimmer is essentially one Deeper on top of IOTA. We're not launching a new token. So all of the additional utility that we're going to be obtaining by launching on top of IOTA EVM we'll be able to we'll be able to share with those early investors, which is great. The other thing that I'd like to point out with Deeper as well is that we've kept back a lot of the protocol incentives for IOTA EVM. So we've managed the amount of community liquidity incentives to ensure that we can have a really successful launch on top of IOTA. So we've got we're not abandoning Shimmer, but we've got a very keen focus on IOTA EVM and ensuring that that's a successful launch for us. In regards to Accumulator, which should launch very soon, I guess a bit of insight for this call and a bit of alpha is that we will be doing a token launch shortly. There's going to be a fair launch. And the other cool thing with Accumulator is that our early supporters on top of Shimmer EVM are going to be rewarded with an airdrop and NFTs. There's going to be more information on that soon. And the Accumulator protocol we've launched with our partners and Potluck, they're going to join us on Friday, and we're going to discuss this in more detail. So be sure to join us then. In regards to Virtue, we're going to go into more details on like the token launch, utility, and the platform launch in due course. So nothing too much to share there right now.
Awesome. Yeah, that is already giving us a good idea, despite the plenty of projects that are running under Nakama Labs. Very exciting. So to put you in a difficult spot for the last time here in our date, that is, could you share some highlights of your roadmap for this year?
Gosh, this is a difficult date, but let's go through it. So roadmap for Accumulator. We've got the token launch that I just mentioned. We've got the NFT collection that's going to be launching very soon. That NFT will provide you with a whitelist for the token launch. And the team are working really hard on a new user dashboard, so a new user interface and experience that will be coming out soon, which will be providing more detailed earnings statistics that the community have been demanding. In regards to Deeper, we acknowledge some of the difficulties in launching on top of Shimmer EVM with some of the limited amounts of liquidity within the ecosystem. We don't anticipate as many issues or any at all within IOTA EVM. So we're excited to launch more markets with less restrictions. And we're also excited to announce that we've kept back a lot of the incentives for the protocol plan for the IOTA EVM launch. So we're expecting more incentives and revenue anticipated on top of IOTA EVM. It's probably no surprise with my background as well. I can't go into too much detail right now, but my background in traditional finance has led me down the path of exploring, RWA research and how we can potentially deploy RWAs in our application. So I won't go into too much detail right now, but it's something we've got a very keen focus on, and we've got a lot of people looking at this and how we can develop and implement such strategies. In regards to Virtue, we're exploring partnerships right now, which I think could be hugely beneficial both to Virtue but to the wider ecosystem, which will be, we're hoping that we can announce shortly. Again, the RWA research applies to both Virtue as well as Deeper. And we've got the platform and token launch to look forward to for Virtue as well. Nakama, I think, is the largest Web3 developer within the IOTA EVM ecosystem. And we've had a lot of time to develop a number of different applications. The team right now is roughly 25 people, to put it into perspective. It's a huge team. So although it sounds like we're developing a lot, there's more to come because we're not just a small team of like 2 or 3 developers focusing on one application. We've got the technical capability and experience to build out multiple different applications. And so we see ourselves as like a Web3 developer, not just focused on one application. So there's more surprises to come from Nakama. I don't want to release all of that today. Really excited to kind of talk through some of those surprises on Friday.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure that gathered some interest here. So to draw from your wealth of experience, what advice would you give the Web3 community?
Gosh, there's so many, but I would just keep it really simple. Just like get involved, invest a small amount that you can lose, like learn from having skin in the game. If you lose a little bit, treat it as like an experience, treat it as like you've paid for the education. And the most important thing is like have fun, lean into what you're having fun. Like if you're using an application, you're enjoying that experience, like go down the rabbit hole of learning more about that application, what makes it run. and learn about some of the DeFi strategies that you can develop across multiple different applications within the ecosystem. We're really excited to actually see a lot of new teams come into the ecosystem, and so I'm still learning now about all of these new applications and protocols that are going to come into the IOTA ecosystem, and it's a really exciting time for me right now, because I'm thinking, gosh, like, how can we partner with all of these new teams, all of these new partnerships, opportunities? But from a user and investor's perspective, there's like a wealth of new opportunities coming into the ecosystem, and being an early adopter is vital. So like, don't put your house on this, but like learn. And the best way to learn is having skin in the game. So like, if you've not got involved in the Shimmer EVM ecosystem, that's fine. There's still time to get involved now, especially as we're just starting the IOTA EVM ecosystem, which is going to be a lot of focus on right now.
Stellar advice right there. So short and sweet, which historical figure would you like to have on your advisory board, and why is that?
I was thinking maybe Tesla, but like, I was thinking that's maybe like too much of an obvious choice. So I'm going to go with Da Vinci, which, you know, I see like Da Vinci as like an absolute genius, like a real innovative thinker. But also, if we look at some of the problems that Web3 are facing right now, I think a lot of the problems that Web3 are facing is having like a really good like design and user interface and user experience. And I think that is something that we can all still learn from within the game. We're trying to make like improvements in the applications that we're launching, and hopefully you see that in some of the applications that we've launched on top of Shimmer. And I think Virtue is a really good liquidity fork, and the UI UX for that, I think is you know, maybe I'm just like blowing pipe up my own ass right now, but I think it's a potential improvement over what Liquidity have right now. But I think there's a lot more improvements that need to be made. We're still very early to the Web3 game, and I think having someone like Da Vinci that could really aid in that design and user experience would be super important. Plus, like, his like whole like ethical considerations to have him on the board would be amazing.
Very interesting question. So it's the first non-musician. Yeah, I've been taking a liking what you've been telling me so far, Rob. So thanks. Appreciate getting to meet you here. And yeah, I think we're going to speak soon anyway.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Sorry, didn't want to cut you off.
Does that mean we get a second date?
No, I don't want to commit to it in public, right? But I'm having thoughts. I'm going to share them with you.
Cool. Thanks very much. All the best, guys.
Thank you.
Bye now.
All right. So next up, we have FOMO Fox. I think we just dropped you as a speaker, or does it work?
Can you hear me? Hello.
Ah, there you are. Hello. How's it going?
Hey, Jonathan. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get right into it. So yeah, be seated. We are going to poke some holes into you. And we are going to start off with asking you about an introduction for yourself and FOMO Fox, please.
Yeah, we are FOMO Fox, and we are very excited to be part of the IOTA EVM launch party today. And we are excited to tell you something about the FOMO Fox project. The FOMO Fox is the first storytelling meme coin on IOTA EVM. So you can influence the Fox's fear of missing out. And all that is driven by the market price of the FOMO token. If the market goes down, for example, the Fox has high FOMO level where actions are rash and desperate. And if the price goes up, the Fox has no FOMO, completely at ease and confident in current decisions. Right now, for example, the FOMO Fox is pretty chill because he found a secret foxhole in the woods, ready to uncover the secrets inside. We hope that you are already excited to see what will happen in the coming days. We have so much plans for you. It will be pretty exciting.
Interesting. So I'm taking that, of course, there is already a token. Can you talk a little bit about the purpose of that?
Yeah, sure. Maybe you wonder when the FOMO Fox token will be launched. It will take place within the next 3 days on Magic Sea. So follow the story on X to take action, because And maybe one hint, because the HODL hamster is a good friend of the FOMO Fox, all HODL hamster holders on Shimmer EVM will get an initial airdrop of FOMO token on IOTA EVM.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's interesting that there might be an animal coin season kicking off on IOTA by the sounds of it. So therefore, I'm wondering, what are the highlights of the roadmap for this year?
Yeah, after receiving the grant from the IOTA Ecosystem IOTA Foundation, we have prepared the launch of the token, which will, as I said, take place in the next 3 days. And you can follow the FOMOFox story closely on X. Just click on the currently speaking FOMOFox, and so you don't miss out the launch and the community incentives. After the launch, we will start many initiatives like riddles, quizzes, airdrops, and campaigns to entertain and expand the community even outside of the IOTA bubble. And in addition, the topic of education is very important to us. So over the year, we will be creating books for young and old and distributing them together with our publishing partner.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm also seeing good community feedback here. Bender has been flaring up the emojis. Lovely to see. So what piece of advice would you bestow on the Web3 community?
Yeah, I would say Web3 is pretty much fun, as we already know, but please take care of scam projects and other dangers. Always be sure that you know what you're doing and where you put your money on.
Very sound advice. So last question, and that is, which historical figure would you like to have on the FOMOFox team?
Yeah, I think now it's the time to ask him directly, because I think he already made history. Maybe Cutcraft can join our advisory board to get our nipples hard while we think about the next riddles and campaign for our community.
Putting him on the spot here.
Yeah.
Cutcraft, you're still a speaker. Any comment you want to dish out? You get a few seconds.
You got to take me to dinner first, I think, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. So we have plans for after the party already. That is lovely. Thank you so much, FOMOFox. Been having a good time, and yeah, we will be in touch for sure.
Yeah, thanks again. Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Bye-bye. So we are at the last stage for the first segment, and that is Token Labs. I think I'm speaking to Juan. Is that right?
Hello.
Hello,
It's
hello.
Reynaldo here.
Ah, Reynaldo. Perfect. Great to hear you again.
Okay.
Let's get right into it. So the first question that I want to ask you is to introduce yourself and Token Lab, please.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Reynaldo Gonzalez, and I'm the CTO of Token Labs. And Token Labs pretends to open the door, or let's say the whole house, to everyone to create their own token and give the whole tools that they need to expose their token to whole community, so they will have maybe all they need to do that.
All right. So is there going to be a Token Labs token?
No, we are not going to have our own token. We are going just to use the native currency of the network.
Lovely. I think somebody, yeah, I think I just had to remove your Codecraft. It sounded like you were eating a bag of chips. So yeah, hopefully no hard feelings, but that was giving me a little bit of static noise. Right. So
okay.
Back to the questions. Yeah, no worries. What are some of the highlights of the Token Labs roadmap for this year?
Okay, at the time where we are working hard to build uh, the best job we can do. Um, we are working hard on our contracts to make it the secure we can do it, to give um, our community stay safe, and also we are going to be listening. We are going to be listening uh, all your needs, so we can help in that way.
All right. So what kind of advice would you like to give to the Web3 community?
Okay, I would say that please be patient. We are humans, as I think Rusty Robot says, because we make mistakes, and also we are able to fix them, and also that you can, that you uh, make a research of every project you want to join in, and and, and that you can be the safe uh, as you can be, and just that, be patient.
Yeah, very sound advice. So last thing that I want to know of you is, what historical figure would you like to have on your team?
Well, we have a complaint about that question because we want to involve, I would say, every important figure to our project, but we make a decision. So we made a decision. Sorry, and we choose two of them, Sun Tzu and Confucius. So Sun Tzu will provide us brilliant strategies to navigate and expand in the blockchain market, and Confucius will guarantee uh, fairness and ethics and transparency to token distribution and building a trust uh, crypto community.
Okay, there we go with the first philosophical figures. So yeah, I think the art of war can actually teach you a lot about crypto. I like that answer. I like that answer. So yeah, thanks a lot, Ronaldo, for coming on.
Thank you too.
Yeah, so that concludes our first segment of speed dating. I hope everybody got a good idea of what these projects are about. I'm gonna see you guys back on Discord, and let's sweeten up that move from Twitter here to Discord. I'll talk to you about it in a second. See you over there. Thank you, everybody. See you in a second.
Yeah.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.